You can cage the lion, but you can never silence its roar. Welcome, chosen ones. You've stepped into a reality where fear no longer holds you back. You're not just alive, you're rewriting the script of what's possible. The most dangerous person isn't the one who fights for recognition, it's the one who creates it unapologetically. That's you. No rules can bind you, no limits can hold you. And thank you, yes, you, the chosen one. Whether this is your first time with us, or you've been walking this path with us from the start, your presence and your super gifts are what keep this movement unstoppable. If you're ready to embrace your strength, silence the noise, and break free from the chains that tried to hold you back, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Drop a 77 in the comments below if you're ready to use your isolation as the fire that fuels your transformation. Let's get to work. Now, here's a bitter truth. People fear what they cannot understand and envy what they cannot replicate. Studies confirm this. When someone challenges the norm, others either idolize or resent them. Congratulations, you've become that challenge. Your haters are like moths, drawn to your light, unable to look away but burning with envy. They run not because you attack them, but because your strength reminds them of their own weaknesses. You don't need loud words to leave a mark. Your silence is louder than their screams, and your resilience is sharper than their criticism. You are the earthquake shaking their fragile ground, the rising tide they cannot hold back. Every time you step into a room, you force them to confront the shadows they'd rather ignore. Picture this. You are like a wildfire in a dry forest, unstoppable and uncontainable. The more they try to put you out, the brighter and fiercer you burn. Your haters? They're like shadows fleeing from the light, small, fleeting, and powerless. Remember this. A tiger doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep. Your presence alone is enough to shake the ground beneath their feet. Watching them scatter is not a victory, it's proof of your strength. Like Albert Einstein, once considered a failure, or Harriet Tubman, who led countless to freedom while defying all odds, you are the definition of unstoppable. So, walk forward without hesitation. Let them run. Let them talk. Their fear and envy only highlight your power. The world wasn't built for people like you. It's waiting to be rebuilt by you. Keep rising, chosen ones. Your moment isn't coming. It's already here. So, please hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and let's dive into it. Number 1. A force beyond measure. You're the storm they can't predict. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Your energy isn't just powerful, it's untouchable. You're not following anyone's script, and that's what makes you unstoppable. People don't know what to expect from you, and that uncertainty shakes them to their core. One moment, you're as calm as a still lake, silently focused on your goals. The next, you're a raging storm, tearing through every obstacle like it was never there. It's not chaos, it's calculated unpredictability, and that's your superpower. Imagine being a chess player in a world of checkers. They're stuck on simple moves while you're already 10 steps ahead, anticipating every possibility. That's the kind of energy you carry. You're the wild card they didn't account for, the unpredictable variable in their carefully crafted plans. When people can't figure out what you're going to do next, they can't prepare to stop you. It's like trying to cage the wind. It's impossible, and it drives them mad. You move with precision, cutting through their expectations like a hot knife through butter. They try to pin you down with their labels, their opinions, and their doubts, but you slip through their fingers every time. Why? Because you're not confined by their small-minded definitions of who you should be. You adapt, evolve, and strike when it matters most. Always on your terms. Take inspiration from history. Nikola Tesla, for example, was seen as eccentric and unpredictable, yet he revolutionized the way the world works. Frida Kahlo defied every expectation of what an artist or a woman should be and left behind a legacy of resilience and unapologetic self-expression. Kobe Bryant didn't just play basketball, he redefined the game with his unrelenting focus and ability to surprise opponents at every turn. Like them, you're not here to be understood by the masses, you're here to make waves. Let's be honest, your unpredictability terrifies people. They don't know whether to admire you, fear you, or try to stop you. That's the power you hold. Your energy forces them to confront their own limitations, their own lack of adaptability. They're running not just from you, but from the mirror you hold up to their mediocrity. You're not fighting the same battles as everyone else. While they're preparing for a fight, you're building an empire. While they're plotting how to slow you down, you're innovating, transforming, and ascending to heights they can't even dream of. Remember this. Ships don't fear the storms, they fear what they can't steer. You are that storm. You're a force they can't control, a flame they can't extinguish. And that's why they're running. Not because you're chasing them, but because your presence alone is too much for them to handle. So keep moving, chosen one. Don't dull your shine to make others comfortable. Embrace your unpredictability. It's the very thing that sets you apart. It's not just your weapon, it's your legacy. Number 2. Too big for their boxes. The power of defying labels. If you're always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. You, chosen one, are a force too vast to be confined by labels. While others shrink themselves to fit into neat little boxes, you blow the walls off entirely. People desperately try to categorize you because it makes their world easier to navigate. But you're not here to make anything easy. You're too dynamic, too layered, and too powerful for their one-dimensional definitions. That's your strength, the very thing that sets you apart. Think of artists like Prince, who refused to be limited by genres or expectations, constantly redefining his identity and craft. Or Robin Williams, whose ability to shift between comedic genius and heartbreaking drama made him impossible to label. Like them, you are an enigma. Your layers and complexities don't just confuse people, they terrify them. They want you to stay in one lane because it's easier for them to process, but you're not interested in their convenience. You're here to shatter boundaries. They call you too much, too little, too loud, too quiet. But none of it sticks. That's because you don't bend to fit their narratives. You're not too much, they're just not enough. You're not too little, you're focused and intentional. Their labels are nothing more than projections of their own insecurities, desperate attempts to simplify what they don't understand. And that's what makes you so dangerous. You reflect everything they wish they had the courage to be. Every time you defy a label, you force people to question the limits they've placed on themselves. You're a mirror they didn't ask for, but can't look away from. Your refusal to conform shakes the very foundation of their worldview, making them uncomfortable in their own skin. That's not your problem, it's their awakening. You're not just breaking rules, you're rewriting them entirely. One day, you're playing the game, the next, you're flipping the board. This unpredictability is what keeps them scrambling to figure you out. But here's the thing, they never will. You don't owe anyone consistency, and you certainly don't owe anyone an explanation. Your only obligation is to yourself, to your growth, and to your evolution. Think of Bruce Springsteen, who once said, "I learned more from a 3-minute record than I ever learned in school." He wasn't talking about conformity. He was talking about finding your own truth and letting it guide you. Like Springsteen, you're a rebel with a cause, someone who doesn't just live life, but transforms it. The labels people try to slap on you are nothing more than their attempt to control what they can't contain. Let them talk. Let them guess. Every time they fail to define you, you remind them of the vastness of your power. You are too big for their boxes, too bold for their limitations, and too dynamic for their understanding. Keep defying. Keep evolving. Your refusal to conform isn't just a rebellion. It's your revolution. Number 3. Rising from the ashes. Your comebacks are a storm. It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. Chosen one, your resilience is unmatched. When life tries to bury you, it only sets the stage for your rebirth. You don't just bounce back. You rise with the force of a storm, stronger, smarter, and more unshakable than ever before. Your comebacks are not about vengeance or silencing your haters. They're about proving to yourself that nothing and no one can hold you down. You're like a phoenix, turning every defeat into the ashes from which you ascend. Think of Michael Jordan, cut from his high school basketball team, only to become the greatest player the world has ever seen. Or Oprah Winfrey, fired from her first television job, but destined to become a global icon. Their setbacks weren't endings, they were sparks. Like them, you don't let failure define you. You use it to fuel your ascent. When others crumble under the weight of defeat, you thrive. You don't waste time on self-pity or excuses. You analyze, adapt, and execute. Your losses become lessons, and your pain becomes power. Every setback is just another piece of the foundation for your next success. It's not about proving your haters wrong, it's about proving yourself right. They watch in disbelief as you rise again and again, wondering how you can be so relentless. They'll never understand. It's your chosen gift, your unbreakable spirit. Your comebacks aren't knee-jerk reactions, they're strategic masterpieces. Think of Serena Williams, who has faced injury, criticism, and doubt, only to return stronger every time. That's you. You don't act out of desperation or anger, you act with precision. Every move you make is calculated, and every victory is a quiet, undeniable declaration that they underestimated the wrong person. Picture this. A storm doesn't rage aimlessly. It follows a path, dismantling anything in its way with purpose. That's you. Your energy isn't chaotic, it's focused. When they see you rise, they're not just shocked, they're scared. Your resilience is a force they can't comprehend, a reflection of their inability to recover the way you do. Every insult, every failure, every moment of doubt they throw your way becomes your fuel. While they're busy gloating over your supposed defeat, you're already planning your next move, your next win. It's not about being loud or brash. It's about letting your actions speak louder than any words ever could. Remember this: the lion doesn't turn around when the small dogs bark. You don't owe anyone a reaction. Your success is the only answer they'll get, and it's the one that stings the most. So, keep rising, chosen one. Let them see the strength they tried to break, the power they can never contain. Your comebacks are more than victories. They're storms, reminders that nothing can stop you. Number 4. Blazing truth. You intimidate with authenticity. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. In a world built on illusions, chosen one, you are the ultimate disruptor. Your power doesn't come from pretending or posturing. It comes from showing up as your raw, unfiltered self. No mask, no filter, no pretense. just unapologetic authenticity. And that, more than anything, is what makes you dangerous. Picture yourself as a wildfire in a forest of artificial trees. While others meticulously paint over their cracks and hide their flaws, you burn brightly, exposing the truth for what it is. Your authenticity isn't just a statement, it's a mirror. It forces people to confront their own insecurities, their own masks, and their own lies. That's why you're intimidating. You remind them of everything they're too afraid to be. Think of Lady Gaga, whose fearless embrace of her identity has made her a global icon, or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, whose charisma and openness about his struggles resonate with millions. Like them, you don't dilute yourself to make others comfortable. You don't seek approval because you've already given it to yourself. That kind of freedom is rare, and it terrifies those still shackled by their own need for validation. Your presence is a declaration. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. Most people can't handle that kind of truth. They hide behind carefully curated facades, presenting only what they think the world wants to see. But you're unfiltered, unbothered, and undeniably real. It's not just refreshing, it's revolutionary, and revolutions always make the fearful uneasy. When you walk into a room, you don't adapt to fit it. You don't shrink to make others feel bigger. Instead, you expand, taking up space unapologetically. Your authenticity isn't arrogance, it's liberation. It's the courage to exist as you are, without explanation or apology. And in doing so, you challenge everyone around you to do the same. For some, that's inspiring. For others, it's terrifying. Remember, chosen one. Being real in a world that thrives on fake is a radical act. Your authenticity is a flame that lights up every corner of the room, exposing shadows that people would rather keep hidden. Some will admire you for it, others will fear you, but none of them will be able to ignore you. Like Maya Angelou said, "I will not have my life narrowed down. I will not bow. I will not break." That's you. Your refusal to compromise, to bow to societal expectations, or to water yourself down is your greatest strength. So, let them squirm. Let them whisper. Their discomfort is a sign that your authenticity is doing exactly what it's meant to do, shaking the foundations of the fake and the fearful. You are the blazing fire in the dark, the chosen one who leads not with pretense, but with truth. Keep burning, because the world needs your light, even if it doesn't know how to handle it. Number 5. Shattering limits. You're a threat to mediocrity. Excellence is never an accident. It is the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. Chosen one, your very existence is a challenge to mediocrity. While others settle for good enough, you see it as the enemy of progress. You don't just aim for the stars, you're building the rocket to get there. Your refusal to accept limits makes you dangerous to anyone who has made peace with theirs. Mediocrity doesn't just fear you, it crumbles in your presence. Think of innovators like Elon Musk, who refused to accept that electric cars were a pipe dream, or Simone Biles, redefining gymnastics with moves no one else even dares to attempt. Like them, you're not here to fit in, you're here to stand out. You don't play by the rules, they're too small for someone like you. And that's exactly why you're a threat. Your ambition exposes the cracks in the foundation of mediocrity. When others cling to excuses, "It's too hard," "It's impossible," "I'm not ready," you smash through those barriers with action. Your drive forces them to confront a harsh reality. The only thing holding them back is themselves. They see you achieving what they thought couldn't be done, and it shakes them to their core. You are living proof that excuses are nothing more than fear wrapped in self-deception. But here's what truly terrifies them. You're not just chasing greatness for yourself. You're setting a standard that dares others to rise or be left behind. Your ambition is a mirror reflecting their own potential, or the lack of it. Every move you make is a reminder of what's possible when excuses are replaced with effort. And that's a truth they'd rather avoid. Mediocrity isn't a state. It's a choice. It's the comfort zone people cling to because they're too afraid to face the unknown. But you thrive in the unknown. You make the uncomfortable your playground. Think of Rosa Parks, who refused to accept inequality as just the way things are, or Muhammad Ali, who called himself the greatest long before the world believed it. They didn't just break barriers, they destroyed the very concept of limitation. That's the energy you carry. You are the storm that disrupts their stagnant waters. While they're treading aimlessly, you're swimming toward a horizon they can't even see. Your refusal to settle is a revolution in itself, shaking the foundation of every mediocre system, thought, or person that crosses your path. They fear you not because of what you've achieved, but because of what you represent: unlimited potential. Remember, mediocrity will always attack excellence out of envy. Let them attack. Let them whisper. You are not here to be understood by those who settle. You're here to inspire, to shatter limits, and to set a standard so high it forces the world to level up. Keep chasing greatness, chosen one. Mediocrity is terrified of you, and it should be. Number 6. Turning wounds into weapons. How you use pain as power. Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars. Chosen one, you have a gift that most people can't comprehend. You don't just survive pain, you weaponize it. What would destroy someone else is what builds you. Pain doesn't weaken you, it transforms you, sharpens you, and molds you into a force that can't be stopped. Every setback, every betrayal, every disappointment is another brick in the unbreakable fortress you're constructing. Think of those who have risen from the depths of despair. Take Malala Yousafzai, who turned a life-threatening attack into a global movement for education and empowerment. Or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who went from being broke and rejected to becoming one of the most influential figures in the world. Like them, your pain isn't just an obstacle, it's your greatest ally. It's what separates you from the rest. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It carves out strength in places you didn't know existed. Each scar you carry is a medal of honor, proof that you've endured what others couldn't. And what terrifies people the most is how you don't just bounce back. You come back stronger, faster, sharper. While others crumble under the weight of their struggles, you rise like steel forged in fire. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. Picture this. A diamond only forms under immense pressure, and so do you. While others flee from hardship, you walk straight into it, knowing it's refining you. Every betrayal you've faced has taught you loyalty. Every disappointment has taught you patience. Every loss has taught you how to win. Your resilience is a language they can't speak, a power they can't understand. And it terrifies them because every time they think they've defeated you, you rise again, more dangerous than before. Your ability to turn pain into progress is why they fear you. Each time you rise, it's not just a comeback, it's a warning to anyone foolish enough to stand in your way. They see your strength, and it forces them to confront their own weaknesses. You don't just endure pain, you use it, you weaponize it, and in doing so, you've turned their greatest weapon against you into your greatest strength. Remember this. Strength grows in the moments when you think you can't go on, but keep going anyway. You don't just endure the storm, you become the storm. Your pain has become the hammer and chisel shaping you into something unbreakable, undeniable, unstoppable. So keep building, chosen one. Let every setback add to your fortress, every scar enhance your story, and every ounce of pain fuel your ascent. They thought your pain would destroy you. They had no idea it was making you invincible. Number 7. Breaking boundaries. You redefine the rules. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Chosen one, you don't just follow the rules, you dismantle them and build something greater. While the world clings to outdated traditions and unchallenged norms, you refuse to accept anything that doesn't make sense. You don't rebel for attention or chaos. Your defiance is purposeful. You're not here to break things, you're here to reinvent them. Imagine visionaries like Elon Musk, who looked at an automotive industry content with its limits and said, "Why not electric?" Or Malala Yousafzai, who defied oppressive rules and declared that every girl deserves an education. These are the rule breakers who didn't just challenge the system, they rewrote it. Like them, you don't see boundaries, you see opportunities. Where others see walls, you see doors waiting to be opened. Where others settle for good enough, you demand more of the world and of yourself. Your refusal to blindly follow the crowd terrifies people. They've built their lives on a foundation of conformity, and your willingness to question everything shakes that foundation to its core. They want you to stay in line because your boldness exposes their complacency. It's not just that you disrupt their sense of order, it's that you force them to confront the possibility that the rules they've followed their entire lives were never meant for people like you. You don't just challenge the status quo, you create a new standard. You rewrite the script, turning their rigid systems into stepping stones for your own vision. Your ability to see gaps where others see barriers isn't just talent, it's your power. You don't accept the world as it is because you know it can be better, and you refuse to wait for someone else to make it. So, think of figures like Rosa Parks, whose quiet defiance sparked a movement that changed history, or Steve Jobs, who transformed not just technology, but the way people think about innovation itself. Like them, your refusal to accept limitations is not an act of rebellion, it's an act of creation. You're not interested in tearing things down for the sake of destruction. Every move you make is about building something stronger, something that makes sense for you and the world you want to live in. People fear what they can't control, and nothing is harder to control than someone who writes their own rules. Your vision is too big, your mind too sharp, and your purpose too strong to be contained by their expectations. And that's why they run. They're not just fleeing your ideas, they're running from the possibility that you might actually succeed. Remember this: do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail. Your trailblazing terrifies them because it forces them to face their own lack of courage. Keep questioning, keep building, keep redefining. You're not just changing the rules, you're creating a legacy. Number 8. The quiet storm. Your power speaks without words. Silence is a source of great strength. Chosen one, your power doesn't need to shout. It's a whisper that echoes louder than any roar. You've mastered the art of presence, and that's what sets you apart. While others clamor for attention with noise and theatrics, your silence speaks volumes. You don't need to demand respect. It's given freely because your aura leaves no other choice. Imagine walking into a room and saying nothing, yet everyone feels your presence. That's the kind of quiet confidence you carry. It's the strength of a mountain, unshakable, imposing, and undeniable. Like Rosa Parks, whose refusal to move spoke louder than 1,000 protests, or Keanu Reeves, a global superstar known for his humility and quiet strength, your silence carries a weight that words cannot match. Your power isn't loud or flashy, and that's what makes it so dangerous. People expect force to be loud, but yours is subtle, like the stillness before a storm. It lingers in the air, unnerving those who can't understand it. They might not know why they're drawn to you, or why they're afraid, but they feel it. Your presence is a mirror, forcing people to confront their own insecurities and inadequacies. You've learned that shouting for validation only gives others the power to deny it. Instead, you've built a foundation of inner strength that doesn't need outside approval. Your silence becomes a canvas where others project their doubts, fears, and envy. That's not your problem, it's their reckoning. You're the storm that changes the landscape without a single clap of thunder. Think of Elon Musk, whose unassuming demeanor hides a mind that has revolutionized industries. Or Audrey Hepburn, whose elegance and quiet confidence left an indelible mark on the world. These are examples of silent power, power that doesn't need to explain itself, yet is felt by everyone. Like them, you don't have to prove your strength. It's self-evident. Your silence is not weakness, it's control. You don't waste energy on meaningless arguments or empty displays. Instead, you conserve your power, releasing it with precision and purpose. It's the kind of energy that lingers, the kind that people talk about long after you've left. That's why your haters are running. They can't figure you out, and it terrifies them. How do you fight someone who doesn't need to engage? How do you defeat someone who's already miles ahead without even breaking a sweat? Remember this: the loudest person in the room is often the weakest. Your silence isn't just your strength, it's your shield, your weapon, your legacy. You don't need to explain your power because it's already understood. You're not here to fit in, you're here to stand apart. Let your silence speak for you, chosen one. It's louder than their noise, sharper than their words, and stronger than their doubts. Your quiet power will echo through every room, leaving an imprint they'll never forget. Number 9. Scaling the unthinkable. Your vision is beyond their reach. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Chosen one, your vision isn't just a dream, it's a revolution. While the masses settle for the ordinary, you're charting paths into the extraordinary. Your ambitions stretch beyond their limited scope, and that's what sets you apart. They can't understand you because your goals push the boundaries of what they thought was possible. You're not here to fit into their world, you're here to reshape it. Your dreams aren't just big, they're colossal, daring and untamed. You think on a level that most people wouldn't even dare to imagine. Think of Elon Musk, who envisioned humans living on Mars when others were still figuring out electric cars. Or Marie Curie, whose groundbreaking work in science not only changed her field, but saved countless lives. Like them, your vision doesn't conform to the status quo. It shatters it. This is why people struggle to comprehend you. They measure their lives by limits while you see possibilities. Your ambition doesn't just scare them, it makes them question the smallness of their own dreams. And here's the truth: that's not your problem. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to inspire, to challenge, and to create. If their doubt shakes them, that's on them, not you. When they call your dreams impossible, you smile because you know better. Impossible is just another word for unattempted. They'll scoff at your ideas and dismiss your plans, not because they lack merit, but because they lack the vision to see what you see. Let them mock. Let them doubt. History has shown us that the greatest legacies are built by those who refuse to listen to small minds. Picture this. You're like a lighthouse on a stormy shore. They don't understand how you stand so tall amidst the chaos, but they can't help but be drawn to your light. Your ambition is the beacon they wish they had the courage to follow. They'll criticize it, envy it, and try to undermine it, but deep down, they know they're witnessing something rare, something unstoppable. Take a moment to think about Jeff Bezos, who turned an online bookstore into a global empire, or Walt Disney, who transformed a simple cartoon into a universe of magic. They, too, were doubted, ridiculed, and misunderstood. But their vision couldn't be contained by the skepticism of others. Neither can yours. Remember, those who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those doing it. Your vision isn't meant to be reachable by everyone. It's meant to challenge the world, to stretch it, to transform it. While others settle for the comfort of mediocrity, you're reaching for the stars. Keep building, keep dreaming, and keep pushing. Your legacy is already in motion, and it's something they'll never be able to touch. Number 10. The magnetism of power. You don't chase, you attract. What you seek is seeking you. Chosen ones, your energy is a force of nature, undeniable, uncontainable, and magnetic. You don't have to chase what's meant for you. It finds its way into your orbit, as if pulled by an unseen force. Opportunities, allies, and even enemies can't help but gravitate toward you. Your aura speaks louder than words, and people feel it before they even see you. Think of icons like Martin Luther King Jr., whose vision drew people from every walk of life to his cause, or Rihanna, whose effortless confidence has built an empire beyond music. They didn't beg for attention or validation. It came to them because they moved with purpose, exuding an energy too powerful to ignore. Like them, your magnetism lies in your authenticity, your unwavering belief in your own value. When you walk into a room, the air shifts. People sense your presence, drawn to you like moths to a flame. It's not about trying to impress, it's about being unapologetically yourself. You know your worth, and that confidence radiates. The right people, opportunities, and even challenges find their way to you because your energy calls them forth. But here's the thing. Not everyone drawn to your light comes with good intentions. Your enemies feel your power too, and it makes them restless. They circle you, trying to understand the source of your strength, but they'll never find it. Why? Because what makes you magnetic is something they can't replicate: your authenticity, your purpose, and your refusal to conform. You don't chase because chasing implies lack. You don't lack anything. You already hold the power. The opportunities that come to you aren't coincidences. They're a reflection of the energy you put into the world. Every goal you've achieved, every connection you've made, started with the energy you carry within. Like a star in the night sky, you don't have to beg to be noticed. You simply shine, and the world takes notice. This isn't luck. It's alignment. Your energy is aligned with your vision, and that's why the right doors open. It's why the wrong people eventually reveal themselves and drift away. You're not in the business of convincing anyone to stay. You're not chasing approval or validation because you don't need it. Everything that's meant for you is already finding its way to you. Remember, a flower doesn't dream of the bee. It blossoms, and the bee comes. That's you. You are the flower, chosen one, blooming in your own time, and attracting what's meant to be yours. Let others waste their energy chasing what they think they need. You're standing still, unbothered, as the universe rearranges itself to meet you where you are. Keep shining, chosen one. You are a magnet for greatness, a force of attraction that needs no effort. The world can't help but respond to the power you hold. Number 11. Reflections. They can't escape. You hold up a mirror. The greatest prison people live in is the fear of what others think. Chosen one, your success isn't just a personal triumph. It's a reflection that others can't avoid. Every time you rise, you become a mirror, forcing people to confront the parts of themselves they've buried, ignored, or feared. It's not you they hate. It's the uncomfortable truth you represent. You're a walking reminder of the potential they've abandoned, the courage they lack, and the dreams they've let slip away. Your glow exposes their shadows. When they see you, they don't just see your victories. They see their excuses, their missed opportunities, and the chains they've willingly worn. It's like staring into a mirror that reveals not just their reflection, but every flaw they've tried to hide. That's why their criticism feels so personal. It's not about you. It's about the fear and frustration they feel toward themselves. Think of iconic figures like Greta Thunberg, whose activism holds up a mirror to global leaders, forcing them to confront their inaction. Or Simone Biles, whose courage to prioritize her mental health reminded the world of its own toxic obsession with perfection. These individuals didn't just achieve, they made people uncomfortable because their success and authenticity highlighted the gaps in others' lives. Like them, you're not just existing, you're challenging the world to do better. People want to believe that success is impossible without privilege, shortcuts, or luck. But then there's you, proving that it's possible through grit, resilience, and unapologetic authenticity. Your journey invalidates their excuses, and that terrifies them. It's easier for them to resent you than to admit that they've settled for mediocrity. That's not your burden to carry. Picture this. You're a lighthouse standing tall, casting light into the darkness. The ships that have lost their way are either drawn to your guidance or blinded by the brightness. You don't dim your light to make them comfortable. You stand firm, letting your brilliance force them to see what they'd rather ignore. Some will be inspired to find their way. Others will curse the light. Either way, you remain unshaken. You don't have to say a word to challenge them. Your very presence does the work. It reminds them of the dreams they gave up on, the risks they were too afraid to take, and the discipline they lacked. Their discomfort isn't your responsibility, it's their wake-up call. You're not here to cater to their insecurities. You're here to fulfill your purpose. Remember this: the truth will set you free, but first, it will piss you off. Your success is their truth, their unfiltered reality. You're not here to make anyone comfortable. You're here to grow, to shine, and to thrive. Keep holding up that mirror, chosen one. Whether they run from their reflection or rise to meet it, that's on them. Your only job is to keep climbing, leaving the doubters to wrestle with the truths you'll never apologize for revealing. Number 12. The villain in their story, the hero in yours. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Chosen one, you're a paradox. To some, you're a menace, a storm that disrupts their fragile comfort zones. They paint you as the villain in their story because your very existence challenges everything they've built their illusions upon. You don't fit into their narrow narratives, and that terrifies them. But here's the truth. You were never meant to be their hero. You're here to be yours. You're not a threat to what matters. You're a threat to what's stagnant. While they cling to the familiar, you charge forward into the unknown, blazing trails that others are too scared to even imagine. They see your courage as recklessness, your ambition as arrogance. What they fail to understand is that heroes are born from defiance, not conformity. In their version of the story, you're the villain because villains are easier to blame than to confront their own fears. But in your story, you're the architect of something far greater, like Malala Yousafzai, who stood firm against oppression and became a beacon of hope, or Elon Musk, who's reimagining what humanity is capable of. You're building a legacy that will outlast the noise. To be the hero in your own epic means to accept being misunderstood. It means standing tall in the face of criticism, knowing that your purpose isn't to please the masses, but to inspire those ready to rise. Let them call you dangerous. Let them fear you. In the end, their stories fade, but your legacy lives on. You're not their villain, and you don't need their approval. You're the hero of a story they'll never fully understand, and that's exactly how it's meant to be. As we wrap this up, remember this: being the chosen one isn't about being liked. It's about being unstoppable. Your power isn't in fitting in, it's in standing out, defying expectations, and owning your journey unapologetically. Let them misunderstand you, fear you, and even run from you. You're not here for their approval. You're here to rewrite the rules. If this message resonates, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop 77 in the comments if you're ready to step fully into your power. Let's keep rising, chosen ones.